Hey, William Mears here. Welcome to the live coaching call of January 28th, 2020. Let me make sure everybody can hear me okay. Happy to have you here. And we have a special guest on with us, and we're going to jump into that here in just a second. Let me actually, give me 1 second. I've got to make sure I've got the windows set right. Hey, okay, everybody can hear me good. All right, and if you can hear that in the background, I got some landscapers going on. I don't know why they picked Tuesdays to rock, but just happens to be the 28th, so we're going to work around that and do what we can. They should be gone here shortly, so okay, cool. Let me transition over to our slides. There we go. Cool. All right, let me move this little doohickey here. There we go. Okay, so welcome, as I said before. Everything's looking good. Cool. What we're going to cover today, we're going to talk to Romeo and Rick. Okay, we'll talk about that in a minute. We're going to cover the 3 simple rules to master success: software training access, Facebook group, live stream support, and the next steps that you can do right now to get ready for the Ring Ads public launch. That is coming soon, and figured it would be good to talk to Romeo and Rick about what's going on, challenges, and how things work, right? So that said, let me see if I can bring them on right now. If you remember, hold on just 1 second. Let me see if I can get the audio going here on the Zoom. Should be able to. 1 second. Let me see. Not sure if anybody can hear Romeo or not. Romeo, are you there? Romeo? Oh, hold on. Maybe it's because I did not join the audio. Romeo, are you there? Romeo. Romeo. Not there. Okay. 1 second. Having some technical difficulties here, folks. See if we can get the audio stuff figured out here. Might take a second. Let me see. What am I looking at here?
Hello.
Hey, there you are. I can hear you. If I can hear you, I think everybody else can hear you.
Testing.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Hello.
I can hear you. Can you hear me? No, you cannot hear me. Okay, everybody else can hear me, but you can't hear me. That's interesting. All right. Let me see if I can. Man, I usually don't have this kind of issue with the sound. Let me see if I can get that fixed. Audio properties. All right. Let's see here. Should be able to hear everybody. I'm not sure what's going on. Let me try one more time here. How about now? Can you guys hear me now? No? Yes, no? Let me see here. Can you hear me now, Romeo? No? Yes, no? Yes, no, yes, no. Let me test. Let me test this. No. Okay, how about that? How about that? All right.
I hear you now.
Oh, you do? Great.
Yeah. Oh, you did? Just came on.
Okay, cool. And I'm hoping everybody else can hear you. I'm not sure if they can. Can everybody hear Romeo
I
and
don't know if
Rick?
Romeo's on just yet. This is Richard.
Yeah, Rick's on. Romeo may not be on yet. Um, can everybody hear Rick though? That's what I want to make sure of. I know they can hear me, but I want to make sure that you can hear Rick too. Looks like we got a yes. So I think we're just going to go ahead and go with it. I'll just keep an eye on the comments. Cool. Okay, so uh, if you folks remember last session, I shared some screenshots with you. Um, I asked you if you remembered this guy, and it was a post from Romeo and Rick actually, and what they were able to do. Uh, Pulling in clients just like crazy. And then I gave you guys an update. Take a look now, right, where they dozens and dozens of clients coming in pretty consistently here. You can see the dates there on the screenshots. So this is not something that happened like a year ago or 3 years ago or even a month or two ago. Is very very recent. Actually, right at a month now, and it's been a pretty interesting journey, I'll say. But I know you folks don't want to hear that from me. You want to hear that from Romeo and Rick. So I asked if you guys wanted to hear from them, and there was a lot of response on that. I was very pleased to see that. So I went and I asked Romeo and Rick. I said, hey guys, would you mind coming on and sharing your story and telling people how the hell you're able to do this and what it's like dealing with the day-to-day life and building an agency and scaling it out. And so especially doing it so rapidly. So as you can see there, the last screenshot I think I've got here is like client number 28. And I asked if you wanted to hear from them, so here we go. Let's talk to Romeo and Rick. Let me see if I can transition over to our Zoom here. There we go. Cool. And I'm not sure why my screen is not showing, why my camera is not showing. Let me see if I can figure that out. But there you can see Romeo. Let's see. Interesting. Video. There we go. All right. Now I'm in the call. Cool. So Romeo looks like he's driving. We've got Rick up there in the middle under Romeo's name. I guess they're just sharing an account. Cool. Um, Looks beautiful down there, man. What's going on down there?
Hey, what's up, dude? How you doing, bro?
Good man. Good man. You just
Can you hear
cruising
me?
around?
Yeah, it's my birthday, and it's not really, you know, building the agency like I'm trying to build the agency. Hope you guys can hear me well. I got the
Yeah.
top down.
Now we can hear
Um,
you great.
Building the agency takes dedication and absolute commitment. If you want to, do the numbers that I'm trying to do, and it's not, it's not a game. So on my birthday, I was working in the company, or in the company, or doing something for the new company that Rick and I formed, and we wanted to make sure that we have everything in place. So that requires me to work on my birthday. Now I have two small children, and those two small children, um, they love birthdays. So
When you say small, are they like miniature children or are they like how
no,
old are
the
they?
pictures I put up there, I got a 2 and a 3 year old,
A 2 and a 3 year
and
old
an 11 year old,
and
and
an
a
11-year old.
18. Well, he's 19 now.
Oh wow.
So I got four kids, that I'm technically in some way responsible for. You know what I mean.
Yep.
My son doesn't live with me; he's in New Jersey. Um, she's my stepdaughter, the 11 year old going on 12, and then the two other ones that are, from me and my beautiful woman. Uh, they are 2 and 3 years old. So different ages, different responsibilities with each one of them. Different roles I have to play, and I never really um, take birthdays off. I would always work anyway, but
Right.
with the family, you need to prioritize what you're going to do and what you're trying to do.
Right.
And so I did a day of work on the agency, and right now I'm in the midst of picking up some happy birthday party stuff for children. But it's not for me. It's so I can, just put it down. So when the children get home,
Right.
they're going to be, oh, it's a happy birthday with music and dancing. They're doing it for them. But as soon as I finish this, I get off the phone call with you, and this will probably take me half an hour, 45 minutes. I'm gonna jump back on the thing, and my family won't get home for maybe another couple hours, maybe 6 o'clock. So that'll give me another potential 2 hours
There you go.
to bring in another client if I can.
There you go. Okay. All right, cool. Well, let's you mentioned forming a new company and everything. Let's start back at the beginning. Like, tell everybody how we met. I guess would be a good starter. Um,
I came to Vegas to the other event that we were part of, the Call Zoo event, where we were supposed to have it was like a November or something like that, October of
2018, right?
2018.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it was near the end of the year. Um, we wound up coming to your house, and uh, Rick and I were there, and you were showing everybody how to do uh, their own call only ad.
Yep,
And there was some people who were there weeks, or they had months to 8 months of training before me,
yep.
and um, we came in cold, never having run an ad, and I was going to try and use the system for what I was doing in real estate. So if you want to talk about my other company, real estate in Miami is uh, very competitive, and the type of money that I need to make to be able to compete, I need to be able to bring in cash flow from other sources because,
Right.
like I said, I've got 4 kids,
Yeah.
uh, 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 and if they're all going to go to the top-notch schools or live the best life, then it's my duty to become a millionaire or die trying, so I can pass that on to my kids. And if I die, it would be the insurance policy that they become millionaires.
There you go.
The only the only way to get that done is to have a serious focus. So we started this business, um, and with anything, if your expenditures exceed your income, then you're in dangerous grounds.
Yep.
So my expenditures started exceeding my income, and I needed to figure out a way that I could turn it all around and potentially make 6, if not 7 figures. Don't mind shopping with me. 6 or 7 figures that would be able to change what I'm doing in real estate and allow me to compete better. And that's what the whole goal that I'm really going for is to have a cash flow of 6 figures a month, which would be a 7 figure company.
And how long are you wanting to spend on the agency to build it to that level? Like how long you want it to take?
Realistically,
Yeah.
at the rate that we're going, if I can, and we haven't even scaled. Uh, so based on that, I believe if I were to do one person a day and hold myself and the future salespeople to that, if I hired 1 or 2 other salespeople and they were working every day,
Yeah.
we're looking at 250 clients minimum that I'd have by the end of the year, working at this rate of just where I'm doing most of the sales. Rick is definitely doing some of the sales. He's really good at it too. We need to get him to do more of that stuff. But the whole point of really trying to get to a point where, do I believe that I can get to 6 figures? Well, if we're billing and we have a potential profit of $1,000 with and let's say even say $500 with each client per month, then what are we looking at? We're looking at 125,000 a month coming in.
Right.
Now, for it to be all profit, I mean, then we'd have to look at the numbers because that would be the gross, and not what the net spend would be.
Right.
So once we figure that out, and you know, your guess is as good as mine right now, until we stabilize. But just starting out of the gate, we don't know what we don't know yet because we're so new. Does
Right.
that make
Right.
sense?
It does. It does. Okay, very good. So we met way back then. You guys came through and didn't quite apply it to, you wanted to apply it to real estate, which is not something I had recommended, but still possible. Things got in the way, life got in the way because of all the responsibilities and the other companies and whatnot.
I'm listening to you.
Yeah, yeah, I got you. And then from there, I mean, walk us through what happened when you how do I want to say this? When I guess when we got back in touch.
Yeah. So what I was trying to do is I wasn't. I came in there thinking that I could apply it to looking for people who would be looking to invest in real estate. Um, didn't kind of work out because that's not an emergency service.
Right,
So I understand better what you're teaching. You know what you're sharing
right.
for people and how it's relevant to um, see. This is what I'm getting for myself. How it's relevant to as you know how you know it's for the kids to the business is because someone's calling in and they need something done right now as
Right.
opposed to does someone want to invest, is it an emergency,
And
would
that's for the traffic source we teach now. The other traffic source is you're actually going to be able to fold back into real estate a little bit later. So that's another thing that maybe I don't remember if I told you or not, but we're going to be able to do that. Yeah.
yeah, hey listen, I'd love to do it, but like I said, was it it wasn't something where how we applied this one, it didn't work for that one, so that's why I have to come back to revisit this. So that way,
Right.
we tried it, it didn't work. We did some ad spend, there was no let me preface it by saying we came to the property in November, um, your house, and lovely house by the way. uh,
Thanks. Thanks.
then we were there, and while we were there, you taught us the basics and the fundamentals of a call only ad, and then by teaching us the basics and the fundamentals of a call only ad, we had the disadvantage of just starting right then and there, but we were the only ones that you saw have an active campaign running that got actually a call person who was looking for. We were doing like divorce lawyer or something like that at the time,
Yep.
and you know, based on that, um,
You knew it could work, right? I would
I knew
say.
it could work. You knew it could work because
Right.
you were like, "Hey, these guys are. Hey, this is the card I'm going to get for myself that I can get the kids to sign."
There you go.
Um,
So fast forward to end of 2019, because I'm sure that's where
so
everybody's been kind of following from where what you've been working on. Like, Thanksgiving just happened. Spent some time with the family, and
right,
what
no,
was it?
it
Was it
was
Saturday?
Thanksgiving. I called you.
Yeah, wasn't it like
Yeah, it
Saturday?
was.
Like it
Yep,
was the day after Black Friday, right? That we talked.
yep, yep. And I was like, "Hey, uh, my cash flow, my expenditures have exceeded my cash flow, and if I don't do something right now, I'm going to be in trouble, and I'm going to lose everything that I'm working on, which I don't want to do." And I don't know if anyone's ever been in this position before, but it's not easy to be able to provide for, you know, 6 people, 7 people
Right.
all the time and do it consistently. And,
Right.
I'm not a corporate company. What I like about your program and what I like about, what I've had to do, my model is different for what your model is, and your model is like a system model.
Oh yeah.
I was just copying other people's business programs, and it was like they had ways to implement things. Just like uh, the other company, Fortune Builders, that does real estate.
Right.
So based on that, or how, if you want to call it like a McDonald's like system, you
Right.
know, you force everybody to, and I don't say you force everybody, but you bring on an element where everybody needs to be able to be responsible for their business in one way, shape, or another, but be really responsible for their own success, because there's only so far that you can do it. But based on what we're saying, you you're showing us how to put things into systems and build a business that we can walk away from and potentially even sell if we have enough clients and everything is going, exactly the way we want it. And
Yep.
we're good in this vertical or multiple verticals, and we have a thriving company that, like anything, it can be sold or passed down to your children. So
It's an
there's
asset.
a,
You're building an
yeah,
asset. Absolutely. An asset that actually pays you. It's not most assets are depreciating assets. Very few actually add value to your life, and if they do so at a very low rate of return. Whereas this one pays you month after month, year after year, and then you can go and sell it. Like that's pretty exciting if you think long term like that. That's exactly right. Okay, so
yeah.
you jumped in. To the mentorship. What was that? I think it was that Saturday, if I remember right. And then let's see, you started prospecting. You did your setup. You got your agency website all set up. You got everything running, and you started calls on the third. I think right. If I'm right, I think I remember that December 3rd,
I
or
think it
was
was
it
the
the
fourth.
fourth? Was it the
I
fourth?
think it was the fourth. Yeah,
Okay,
because we
maybe it was
got
the
some.
fourth. Yeah. All right. So the first day that you started calls, uh, uh, you had the script and everything. You didn't have a ton of time to review it in your defense because it had been a while since you looked at the systems, right? I get that. Um,
No, no,
and
no, no.
then
Listen, this was different. This was different. This was trial by fire.
right. So when
Even
you
though we did the other systems, we were only up at market research the last time. So we ran a call. We were running a couple calls, and we got another phone call right now. The ring ad system just texted us. Um,
okay.
so I gave you a call. Like I said, the expenditure sometimes could be 10, 20, 25,000 a month sometimes. So I never know what's expected, what I'm going to do, how I'm going to do it. And
right.
if I have a couple $25,000 months, four or five of those in a row, that's a no bueno, a no good. So you don't want to have anything like that going on and then not be prepared for it.
Right.
So that's why I wanted to take responsibility because you know if I'm trying to buy real estate or if something's going on and um, I get hit once like that, I can get wiped out, especially like not being a big business or how I'm doing things right now, buying at the foreclosure auction, um, and then needing capital for
Right.
repairs, stuff like that. So uh, here or there, I was like, hey, listen, I really need to, um, move forward on this. And while real estate is slow, and I have some time in between, looking for real estate deals or talking to homeowners, I need some recurring income where I could really go out there full time and
Right.
really blow it up.
Right.
And your answer to me was that, you know, I'd have to do the system and, I'd have to do market research at the same time as make live phone calls. So I said I was up to the challenge, and um, you 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 gave me the new script, the new updated script, because I had never made a phone call for a sale. Like I said, I was doing only.
So what happened your first half of the first day that you made calls there?
I mean, I was bombing.
And when you say
I was
bombing,
just
like you
bombing.
had phone calls coming in delivered to you, right? How I teach and all that.
Correct.
So how many phone calls do you think came through that you bombed on
And I bombed on. It was like
initially?
44.
44. 44. Then you reached out to me, right?
Yeah.
That was probably the smartest. I tell you this all the time. That was the smartest thing you could have ever done. Not because I'm the only answer, but if you got a problem, I'm definitely the guy that's going to have an answer for you, and especially in that department. Now we jumped on the phone. I remember this. That day was a crazy cool day. You pulled three clients in that day, all in the
So you were
last
on the
half.
phone. You were on the phone, and then you're
Yeah.
like, "Hey, dude, you got to correct this, this." You know
So
what I'm
yeah,
saying?
in between phone calls, you were getting phone calls coming in, and then I would say, okay, work on this, this, and this. Say it like this, say it like that, and
No,
you
no.
would,
This
you
guys,
know,
let's tell the truth. This is how he really said it. Stop taking phone calls. Stop, 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 stop,
that's
stop
it.
immediately.
I did that.
Stop. And then I was like, "What's going on?" And he goes, "You can't go through 44 phone calls and you know not get a sale or a stat or something like that." So based on that, oh look, we just got a billable call.
Okay,
So we
great.
got a qualified call that just came in. That's always a good thing because so I'm out here.
That's funny. We're having a chat and business is happening. That's what I love about this business, man. It's really
It's a
cool.
recording on the back end of this. It's the recording on the back end of the surface,
Yeah.
of this actually working, and with a billable call. We get enough of these, I'll be making money while I shop for my birthday presents for me, really for my kids.
Right.
You know,
Oh
because
man. So you went through. Okay, so let's recap. You went through a bunch of no's. I jumped on the phone with you. We had a real heart to heart about your processes and what you were going through here. Wow, I have a call from Singapore. That's interesting. Look at that. Hold on. I don't know if you can see that or not, but
hello,
Singapore.
Singapore.
Yeah, that's weird. Anyway, uh, we got you back in the game, and in between phone calls you would take a phone call, and then you asked me if I would listen, and so I mute myself, and then I'd listen to you go, and then after the call was over we'd cover the points and what you could do better, and mainly
Yeah,
it came down to two things that I saw, two things that you needed work on, and that was reassurance, which is everybody could use more work on this, reassuring your client or potential client that you're going to do what you say you're going to do. And the second thing is the urgency, right? Those two things right there got you your first deal. I remember that. That was a hell of a phone call. And then we talk about it. The very next phone call that comes in after while we're talking, you land that client. You landed two clients back to back. I remember that. That was
and then
that was
Rick
fun.
picked up the third phone call, and then he followed through with it,
Yeah.
and then we got the third client that day.
Yeah, Rick got that third one, didn't he? Yeah.
Hey, Rick, you there?
Rick, you
Ricky,
there?
Yeah.
Hey,
what's up?
you got that third client, right?
Yeah, I followed up. Romeo had gone through the script, and then we texted back and forth a couple times, and then I called him and walked him through paying online and the onboarding, and he was our third client that day.
How about that? All right. So three clients in your first day. That's not a bad start. That's not a bad start. Where are you guys at now?
34.
34 clients in. 34 clients in. Very cool. All
It,
right.
it, it would have been more, but between last week and this week, it was catch up. It's customer service, setting expectations.
Building
You know,
infrastructure too. Yeah.
yeah. Um, Rick, how many videos do you have right now for position 3 or 4? Which one do you have?
Yeah, I mean, both, really, well, 1, 3, and 4, because
1, 3, and 4.
position
Can you
1,
name?
finding the emails, setting those up, sending it out, doing some of the sales dialer calls,
Yep.
doing the onboarding, from, the actual calls with the clients of putting their information in, and then
Good.
taking that information, putting it in ring ads, and then setting up the campaign, setting up the page, and then managing the campaign, and that was this weekend, and really going in depth, because beyond just teaching someone how to duplicate a campaign and set up their ads and the extensions and the schedules and the locations, it's then really being able to look at a set of search terms and to have the right mindset of identifying a bad search term and really figuring out what that means, and then the training I did was someone was looking for a kind of product instead of a service, that's really breaking down all the brands of that kind of product, all the features of that kind of product, all the different words that can be used to describe that kind of product, that could then put someone doing that search as a negative search. And
Right.
if we're going to train the campaign manager the right way, that's the kind of infrastructure that's needed. You want to train them to do what you're doing or better, so that you can actually have a business you can walk away from.
Exactly. No, that's exactly right. Hey, since I got Rick on, let me ask from his perspective because he got to see a lot of this, and Romeo go through a lot of the initial sales processes. Rick, what was your impression of like the before and after, let's call it, even though it's not really before and after, but like watching Romeo go through that, and I mean I know he's on the call, so he knows I'm talking about him, but I wouldn't
Hey,
not say it to his face anyway.
Rick's a badass closer too, man.
Yeah.
Rick's a badass closer too, because he did a he's we have different call packages, and he sold like the largest call package the first time out of the gate, a couple of the times that he was on the phone. So
Right.
his average of customer acquisition and how much
The
you
client
know,
value, right?
yeah, the client value was higher than mine at the time. So even though I did more numbers, Rick had a higher sale volume, with
Yeah,
with no,
yeah,
what do you have per client? So
yeah.
Rick knows what he's doing.
So Rick,
What
tell
do
us
you have?
from your viewpoint what it was like watching Romeo kind of progress through from hearing all those no's to uh, 34 clients. I mean, and I know you've closed a lot of those yourself too. So tell me what that process was like for you from your perspective.
Well, so I heard when you were talking about the timeline of it. Just one second. So we actually started on the third, and on the third, that was the day I think like 20, 40 calls came in, but no sales.
Right.
And then the next day we started up, and it was a few calls like that, and no sales. And then you had the talk with Romeo, about tone and how to really position
And you
what
were
it is
there
that
for
you're
that.
doing.
You were there for that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. Yeah, you were talking to Romeo, but I was on the call as well. And
Now, how many calls?
then after that,
How many calls did you take after that day? Do you remember?
um,
It wasn't just the one,
I'm
was
not
it?
sure. I mean, 'cause I was doing some of the because when the system is running,
Yeah.
you're sending out the voice blasts
Right.
and so forth. There's a lot coming back in.
Oh yeah.
So I was doing a lot of the callbacks to people that for calls that had missed.
I
I'm
see.
not sure
You're doing the follow
the
ups.
exact number. I didn't have
Yeah.
and since then we've developed tracking sheets and things like that to
Good.
really get our numbers marked down, which has been important and important as a as a metric, and then as a follow up tool,
Would you
which
say
Romeo.
would you say the
No, sorry.
trackings kind of helped you figure out how to get more consistent on bringing in the clients?
Yeah, yeah, yeah. And I mean, it gives you, building the tracking sheet. It was putting in, the different milestones of, where you get in a conversation. So it really systemizes it in a way where, the way the script is set up to,
Right.
ask if someone, if they need more business right now, makes a conversation very short or at least, qualified. And, doing it enough times, you're going to get clear no's and clear yeses. Now that's obviously just the first step, but the clear yeses now, you can now organically fall right into the next steps. The next part of the script, which are the qualifying questions,
Right.
and going through those questions, it puts you in a good position, and you learn about the business, obviously, of where and what they're doing and how they're doing it. And as we've gone along, deeper into it, it becomes more and more important. At first you may think you're just doing the qualifying questions as part of the script, but as you actually start running the business, those
Right.
questions become more and more important on even
Yes.
the kind of clients you want to take on,
Yeah.
based on the kind of answers that you get. Some of the big ones being how, who, and why, who and how picks up the phone becomes very important when you start driving calls to clients and they're not picking up the phone. Then you can have an
Oh
honest
my
conversation with a
my God!
a
Sorry,
new
Rick.
prospect that
People not picking up the phone is one of the worst things that you have to get the client to do, because
Yeah.
that missed call is a missed opportunity
that you
that
spend money on.
Right.
and when you spend money on it, it hurts.
You feel it.
Right.
Yeah.
Well, you've got
So
client management to do, right? I mean, that's part of the
client
business.
optimization, yeah.
Yeah. Client.
Well,
I call it client optimization. Exactly.
That's an appropriate term.
Yeah.
There's the campaign optimization, based on who's searching through Google and who's clicking through.
Yep.
But then once the click and the call goes through, the other end needs to be, the whole pipe has to be running
Yep.
for the system to work. So if there's a break in the pipe at any point, which it ends up being the client, then that's something that needs to be worked on.
By the way,
yeah,
the
and that's
the
something.
go ahead.
Yeah, that's something that you have to set client expectations for, or
Yeah.
hey, you never know when the phone call's coming in. You got to be on your toes,
Yeah.
and
You do.
you know, if not, that's a missed opportunity for making money for them and us.
Yeah. Well, think the way I explain this to people, and I'll explain it to everybody listening on the call what they're talking about, because it's a higher level conversation we're having. I want to make sure everybody's on the same page here. Um, these guys, Romeo and Rick, they're talking about managing client expectations as well as helping them to close more business. Because if they close more business by not missing calls or by handling the calls appropriately, see, most of these businesses have it backwards. They got into HVAC and they think that's all they do, and that's where they're dead wrong. Marketing and sales and marketing, that's priority one. That is the lifeblood of any business, whether you're HVAC, whether you're a marketing company, whether you're a physical goods company, e-commerce, sales and marketing is lifeblood. That is number one priority. Um, Most people that jump into business don't realize that or understand that. Some never realize it and eventually go out of business because of it. So when someone says they need more business right now, that tells me that they don't have a way of pulling in lifeblood. They need people like Romeo and Rick to come in, which is cool, to pump more blood into their business and do it consistently, but not at the expense of burning away profits, right? So we go what we call above and beyond to help these clients understand that every call is gold. They have to treat it that way and work with the people they have on the phone to get the business. That's the deal. Um, and ultimately, it makes them more money, so they're happy about that. They're not just getting phone calls from you guys, right? They're getting that next level of service that people like Home Advisor and all the other bigger companies, hell, even some of the smaller companies out there, nobody's teaching this kind of stuff, not really. Going above and beyond for your client, who's heard of that? I've looked high and low. I've never heard of well, I won't say never. Very rarely have I ever heard of that, especially in an agency model. So kudos to you guys for taking that and systemizing it and running with it. Okay,
Well,
so
we
what do
we've
you?
actually stepped it up a little bit.
I was gonna say,
There's
what are your
sometimes,
plans? Yeah, what are your plans from here? Like, what are you thinking?
well, real quick though, but in setting expectations, one of the things in setting expectations was uh, to explain to them that without them picking it up, it's a problem. And then then there's also we got enough phone calls in where we didn't want the client to lose the job. Like I
Right,
said, because at 33 clients, 34 clients, you got calls coming in, and each one of those calls could potentially be billable.
right.
So
That makes
I'm not
sense.
saying that anybody should do this unless you're taking serious onus of your business. And this might be something for position for customer service to be doing once you really build an agency. Otherwise, if you care about your agency, depending on the frequency and the volume of your calls, um, then you want to make sure that that person may get that potential deal. So what we did
Right,
is we called a couple of the phone numbers back, and I know you don't recommend it, but with that many clients in a short amount of time, uh, setting expectations. And what we really did do, I'm sorry, and what we really did do is we really challenged the system, because with this many clients in this short of time, without ever having a company like this before, there's a different level of service that we're providing. We got
right.
another phone call just came in from the ring ad system.
That's funny.
So I'm hoping this is a qualified
Another
billable call.
qualified. Yeah.
That the last one was a qualified call. Not all calls are qualified,
Yep.
and when they're not qualified, like I said, it cuts into what potentially could be your profit. So you have to make sure that you're optimizing,
Yep.
and that's what Rick is doing. Giving me the liberty to be out here shopping for my birthday real quick. But he optimizing, and if you're a one-man band, um, if you're a one-man band, oh, it's just the same number that called, then it might be a little bit harder for you, but you're just going to have to put the time in if you really want to be successful.
Yeah.
And, it might take you a little longer, but, that's where your money is. and getting that phone call to be the right phone call, and then it coming in. So I just believed that a couple of times that the client missed the call or went to voicemail or someone didn't pick up. I called back and I said, hey, it's Romeo with XYZ.
Yeah.
And then if it was another time, I said it's Romeo with ABC Company. And then I said another time it's with DEF. And there's 3 of those calls, I think it was Rick, that turned out to be billable. Is that correct? Rick, you
Rick?
there?
Yeah, that was actually the second call, was the customer calling back to make sure that the client was on the way.
Great. We have that recorded, so
Yeah.
that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So
That's very
definitely
nice.
a billable call, and that's a follow-up from the homeowner to the billable call. So
Yeah.
that's always a great sign. So
Oh yeah.
we want to get more of these, and we want them answering the phones, and we want them re-upping, their monthly or the number of calls that they buy, because if we can make, like I said, if we can get 100 clients in, let's just say we made 1,000 per client per month,
There's your 6 figures.
there's still 6 figures right there.
That's your 6
And
figures a month. Yep. Yep.
and then you take away taxes and what we need to do in ad spend, you're in mid 5 figures,
Oh yeah.
Of what.
And that's only if they're worth 1,000. I mean, you're going to see, especially in certain periods of time of the year, you're going to see an increase. We've already talked about that. But yeah, there's no reason why. And you've heard from some of your clients what they pay other services on average. I mean, they're worth several $1,000s a month each.
Yeah,
And
with the right leads.
yeah, exactly, with the right phone calls, they're worth tons of money. So that's good. Where are you guys
We have
heading
a
from
couple
here?
of referrals.
Yeah, where you?
We have a couple of referrals. We have a couple of national chains
Yep.
looking at us.
Yep.
So we, based on, like I said, and we're still so new, but based on the results, we could double the company, just with triple the company with the right referrals.
Oh yeah,
So
and you'll get them too. This industry is that you're in is known for that. It's very much word of mouth and referral based, which is not a bad thing. It's not the only way to get business, but it's a great way to get business. So let me ask you this, and we'll kind of wrap it up. I want to know where you guys are, what you're planning on, what you're headed to. Everybody wants to know what you're looking at over, let's say, February, because we're at the end of January, right? So, what's February look like for Romeo and Rick?
Rick, you wanna chime in? What your thoughts are?
Yeah, well, I mean, it's going to be definitely a client push. We definitely want to hit the 50 client milestone, and then go from there and hit our 100, and start hiring the right people to occupy some of these positions, campaign management, customer support,
Right.
and then the initial prospecting to start really systemizing this, and those are some of our goals. So 50 clients definitely at a minimum by the end of February, which is
End of February.
or exceed that.
Yeah, you should
and
exceed it.
having our
Yeah.
first couple of people hired,
And
to-
trained.
to,
I would say
trained.
even
Yeah,
initially
that's the
trained.
key.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's where I was saying that Rick already has some of the recordings. So since
Yeah.
ring ads, we what we did, guys. Pro tip that we learned is we got our own ring ads number, and we have the
Yeah.
clients call into the ring ads number, and I definitely pay extra for that privilege. But now every time a customer calls in, we have that phone call recorded, or a client calls in, we have that phone call recorded, and based on that, we have a record of what's going on and what they're calling about, and we get the text that the customer's calling in. But it's like Rick said, we're trying to get to 50 clients, if not more. And then
Good.
once we hit our 50, we're definitely looking to
Oh, you cut out. Hopefully the signal gets a little bit better. Hoping. Ricky, still there?
I'm here.
Okay, cool. Yeah, looks like you cut out for a little bit. So you guys are thinking 50 clients, and then I think he's about to say start looking at another vertical, right? So north of 50, you guys are going to look at another vertical as you guys progress into 100. That's pretty
Yeah,
ideal. That's
once we
ideal.
cross the hiring and training of the people,
That makes
we want to
sense.
cross that because that's going to be the key thing.
Well, it frees up your guys' time. Like you're going to be able to be on the phone a lot more with Romeo and closing more deals, and that just snowballs,
Yeah.
right? Has a snowball
Yep.
effect. Yeah, it looks like we lost Romeo. Okay, that's okay, because we were about done anyway. Cool. Well, hey, first off, and I know Romeo will catch us a little bit later, but thanks for coming on, guys. Like I know a lot of people wanted to hear from you, and there's been I know there's not a ton of people in the comments right now because they're so intent in listening on what you're saying and what it took and all that. So I'm sure you'll probably have some questions come up in this thread, which is fine. If you want to take a look through that, that's cool. If not, I'll take a look at it and see if I can answer those questions. But I know everybody appreciated hearing from you for sure, from both of you. So thanks for coming on. And yeah, I'm gonna move on with the rest of the call here and catch you guys later. Yeah, I'll catch you.
All
I'll
right. Yeah.
probably give you.
Definitely
I'll
looking
probably
forward.
give you a call after we're done here on this session, and we'll catch up on some stuff. But yeah, thanks for coming on, guys. Appreciate it.
No problem.
And
Thank you.
and congrats for all the success. You guys are doing great. Keep doing what you're doing, and you're gonna be very happy with the end result. It's gonna be fun, man.
Absolutely. It's it's the out of all the things that we've been doing, this is really the it's a sustainable business. It's not super. You don't need to go to 4 to 10 years of school to be able to do a business like this. Of all the things, it's doable, and I mean anybody in the group, with that can think and speak can do this business.
Yeah.
And I can't wait to see all the success in the group. And it was a pleasure to be on.
All right, my man. We'll catch you guys later. Tell Romeo it's all good, and I'll talk to you guys probably after this call. I'll give you guys a ring.
Okay.
All right.
Soon. Bye.
Cool. Oh man, I love calls like that because you actually get to hear from other people like um, what it takes, what they went through, what their mindset was like a before and after snapshot, all kinds of like just nuggets in there. So hopefully you picked up a lot of stuff that you can use in growing your agency, what it's going to take, and all that. Totally worth it on the other end. Kind of funny how a qualified call comes in while we're while we're on this call, and you saw Romeo was out shopping, birthday shopping, right? Um, Pretty interesting how things happen in this business. It gets me excited. Puts a big smile on my face, of course, and especially to see those two guys succeed at this. I've come to really enjoy working with these guys. They're let's say this. There's smart people, and then there's Romeo and Rick. Like these guys uh, take what you give them and run with it at a speed that I don't know if I've ever seen. Maybe I have, but it's been so long ago that I forgot. Right? These guys are really good. So if there's someone to follow or someone to model after in this business model, it would be those two for sure. Someone was asking if they are in the mentorship program. Yeah, they're in the mentorship program. That's how they got their start last year. They came into the mentorship, and so good question there. If there are any questions, I don't have a problem answering those. But I figured I'd go through the points here on the three simple rules. I mean, since we just talked to Romeo and Rick, like I think these are going to make a lot more sense as we talk about them in that context with their story. So only follow the training provided. I mean, you can hear initially, when Romeo and Rick and I met, they tried to apply this in real estate, and that's for call only ads specifically. Can you make it work? Yes, but is it a much more uphill battle? Yes. So they didn't quite follow the training initially, right? And that one deviation can cause a lot of problems if you notice. Now, I'm not saying you can't deviate at all. I'm just saying the more you do deviate, the more challenging it's going to be for you, right? Now they did come back and they said, okay, well, what do we do? And I said, let's do this. And they, of course, I said, let's do this, right? That's my trademark signature. Um, that's what they ended up doing, and now they're 34. What was it? 34 clients, and counting, in a very short period of time over the holidays, I might add, which is contrary to most people's belief. It's actually the best time of year to sell, not the worst. So they did very well, and considering they started out of the gate, literally the end of November, they did really well with that. So they followed the training, and they definitely used support. I mean, they reached out. They were having some challenges. They reached out. Boom, got the problem fixed, and clients started pouring in. And you can tell they work at it consistently. You heard Romeo talking about working on his birthday, not as a punishment, or it's just because he wants to keep the business going. He doesn't want to drop the ball for 1 second. And Rick was back there working the whole time. That's why he went on mute all the time. He's working on the business. Um, and if you notice, they spend a lot of time in the business because they can. But they both have responsibilities. I mean, Romeo's got kids to take care of, and they're at an age where, you know, they're at the age where if you have kids, even if you don't have kids, they're at the age where it's like, man, kids, because they need a lot. They're in their formative years, and that requires a lot of energy, a lot of attention, a lot of money, a lot of financial resources, a lot of everything, basically, a lot of life force, if you will, um, to manage and successfully raise those kids. And so uh, I talk to Romeo all the time, and I know he's tired, not just because of the business, but also because of the energy he devotes to the family. And so, um, I mean, that's the thing, is that I'm not asking you to do um, 20 hour days or something, 18-hour days. If you want to, by all means. But if you work at this consistently, I think that's the deal there. That's the key. Just work at it consistently, and you'll be fine. And for him doing that, making that sacrifice on a day like today, I mean, doing stuff for his kids for the birthday so that they get to celebrate with him. Um, it's pretty cool to see that. Pretty cool to see that, because I didn't suggest that. That's him. That's all him, man. So he's very much him and Rick. Romeo and Rick have definitely taken on the ownership concept, which is good. That's absolutely critical. Got to have that ownership of your business. Got to take ownership and responsibility for what your business does. If it's turning a profit or not. If it's being properly optimized. If you've got new clients coming in, all that stuff. Right? Training your new people, building the systems to automate and semi-automate the processes that run your business while you're off shopping for your birthday, right? um, Pretty cool to see that. And then of course support. These guys have used support pretty frequently. They post in the group all the time, the mentorship group, for the mentorship people, and they're always in there talking about what they've gone through. Managing kids in the background of a sales call and still closing the client, to billable calls coming in, and just all kinds of stuff. They share insight, and where they were coming from mindset wise. It's really valuable, very valuable. So appreciate them, and it just goes to show you, like, you heard from them the reasons they succeeded, and then you look at these rules and how they applied directly to their success. I'm not saying it's the only thing responsible for the success. I'm just saying definitely all three of these rules were applied and used, and there's a reason for their success. It's because they made it work, and they made it work because they followed very simple guidelines. Very simple guidelines to manage that growth and success. That's the key there. Um, Software training and access. So I know a lot of you are chomping at the bit to come in. Listen, folks, when Ring Ads launches publicly, oh, looks like I'm on the wrong slide here. Hold on one second. Did I not? I guess I went on the wrong. Yeah. Okay. This is not the deal right now. But things you can work on. Actually, where is the slide that I had? Goodness, I thought I replaced that slide. I guess I did not. Did I not replace that slide? I did not. There we go. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Now we good. Now we're good. Okay. Let me come back. So for the software and access, that was a prep slide. Psyched you. Sorry. I know you're chomping at the bit to get into the software. Here's the deal, folks. I want it to be not perfect. There's always going to be things that can be better, and we have a list longer than, longer than the Bible, that of things that we're going to update and things that we're going to improve upon. There's not a day that goes by where somebody asks for something and we say it's on the list, right? Because it is. And that's a good thing. It's just something to be aware of. Like, there's a lot of stuff that we want to make sure is in place first as we go along here, and then of course the training needs to be part of that. The software training needs to be part of that. So I don't want you to come into the software and not really have a solid direction. That's not fair to you. That's not fair to us either, because it's going to bog down support channels, and if support's bogged down, then the whole progress and development, I won't say all of it stops, but it'll definitely slow down. And that's not something I'm looking to do, and that's not something you want to happen either. So give us a little bit of time. We will make this happen, and trust me, it's going to be worth it. I know you know that because you've seen and you've heard from people that have been using the software. You've seen from people that and heard from people that have gotten results. You know what we currently have works, and not only works, but works very well. It's been updated. There's reasons for those updates, not just to update, but like updates that were really long overdue, and for one reason or another, were, let's say this, they were not prohibited, not discouraged, but what's the word I'm looking for? Hindered. They were hindered. And now they're not. And so that's why you're getting all these updates and different things and improvements are coming in so rapidly, and the pace is only going to quicken. So that's something really to look forward to. In the meantime, what you can do to prepare is go to papercallagencysuccess.com, log in, get your free training. That's the updated training, and there are some updates that have taken place since that updated training. But for the most part, it's pretty much on point. Okay, definitely more than enough to get started with. A couple of tweaks that'll come in later when the Ring Ads public launch happens, and you'll learn about those in the training. But yeah, there's updated training, and then there's updated training. I know that sounds kind of funny. You can review part 1 and part 2 of the Pay-Per-Call Agency Success in 24 hours or less guides. Those are extremely valuable. Never once have I ever heard somebody say, "Oh man, I just didn't get it," or "I didn't understand." Those guides are super valuable. There's tons of videos linked out from that guide that you can actually access for free right now. You'll find those in the group, in this group actually. If you're watching live right now, you'll be able to see exactly what I'm talking about. Let's see here. Getting a Google MCC account set up. This is important. Go do a Google search real quick and find Google MCC. They actually call it, I believe, the Google Account Manager now. But the old name, Google MCC, still pops up at the top. Apply for your Google MCC account and get that set up. Study your sales script. That's super important. That's also in the group. It's also in the updated training section. Pay-Per-Call Agency Success. Get on the early bird list. Like, if you want to know when this thing launches, I'll be posting in the group about it, yes, but you may miss that. If you're not on Facebook all the time, you may miss that. So the best way to not miss that is to have redundant systems in place. So if you go to ringads.com, you can actually jump on the early bird list. I'll email you when that launches. Don't worry, I won't email you a bunch of affiliate offers or spam you with a bunch of bullshit, frankly. Um, and That's just not my style. Anybody that's been around me for any length of time knows that. So I would never do that to you guys. But what I will do is, if you jump on that list, I'll make sure that you know about when Ring Ads launches. And then in the future, if you hear from me, it'll be about something that I use, but I'm going to show you how I use it, and you can make the decision on whether or not you want to use that in your business, or something to do with Ring Ads, like training updates, software updates. There's all kinds of stuff that we can talk about with Ring Ads, and I wouldn't expect emails from me all the time, but when you do get emails from me, I would expect it to be really good. That much I'll tell you. So if you jump on the early bird list, holy crap, my Facebook is blowing up. Let me, God Almighty, let me see if I can tell people that I am on a call. How do I mute this friggin'? There we go. Good grief. Okay. 34 messages on a Facebook thing, and right during a training call. Not that they know that I'm on a training call right now, but that's okay. That just really got me irked for some reason. All right. Now that that's taken care of and I don't have Facebook blowing me up, what I want you to do is stay tuned via email in the Facebook group for the Ring Ads public launch, okay? And I promise you it's worth the wait. It's coming soon. And apparently I've got a lot of messages to catch up on after this call, and then I've got a couple phone calls, and then I'll get back to work on that. So be aware that's the next steps, things you can do to prepare for that. Looking forward to it. It's going to be a lot of fun, actually, watching you folks progress through and grow and scale your own agency, just like what Romeo and Rick are doing. That's really cool. So love seeing that. Ring Ads Facebook group. So this is you guys know this. I've seen this. Actually, somebody made a post recently, tried to anyway, and the post was like really, really negative. Obviously, we didn't approve it, but that's the reason why you didn't see that, because we garden, if you will. We garden the group. We tend to the garden. We make sure all the weeds are pulled. I didn't get rid of the member. I gave them their warning. I gave this person their warning, and I haven't heard back from them or seen them try to post again. If I do see them try to post again, they're gone. They're out. That is the deal. No negative comments, no negative posts. If you've got something to gripe about or complain about, come to me. Come directly to support. That's where it belongs. Not out in the group. And keep in mind, it's not a free speech forum. I know a lot of people, especially in the States, like, we're used to being able to just say whatever the hell we want, wherever the hell we want, whenever the hell we want. That's not the case here. That is not the case here. This is the Ring Ads Facebook group. This is the nation of Ring Ads, Ring Ads Nation, however you want to say it. And in the Ring Ads Nation, we don't tolerate negative stuff, because so many people are here to grow and to learn. There are things that you can be concerned about without being negative about, right? There are things that you need help with that you don't have to have a negative attitude about. So if you've got something negative to say, check it at the door, or it'll be checked for you and we'll give you a warning. After that, you're out indefinitely. I have a zero tolerance policy on that. And the reason I would say mostly is not because of me personally, because I could listen, if somebody wants to message me in support, and I've had people do this from time to time over the years, where somebody will message me in support and say some really just heinous stuff, just nasty stuff, and it's, to me, I could care less, because that person's not even in close to a state of mind that would enable them to succeed in anything, let alone Ring Ads, right? And I'm okay with that, because that's their decision. I respect it, I understand it, and it's water down the back, right? Water down the duck's back, just rolls right off. When it's in the group, though, everyone else can potentially see that. And while it may be water off of my back personally, if someone else sees it, it may plant a negative seed where it's like if somebody was already thinking they can't do this for some reason, which, by the way, a lot of people at every level, oh, I don't know how to set up an agency website, or oh, I don't think I can, and then they do it. Then they move on to the next level. Oh, I don't know if I can get clients, and then they do it. And then it's, oh, I don't know if I can drive qualified calls, and then they do it. Oh, I don't know if I can scale the business. And there's people that stay in that mindset, and it's a very fragile state until they finally one day just wake up and realize that they've just been selling themselves short this whole time. But until that point, they're a bit fragile. I'm not saying they're weak. I'm just saying their mindset needs to be protected, and it's our responsibility as a group together to make sure that we protect each other and take care of each other, right? Let me come back to my camera. I'm really on a soapbox here. I'm sorry about that. Um, Sorry, not sorry. We got to protect each other. We got to work together. And the best way I can think of to do that is to make sure that we garden or tend to the group and pull out the weeds, not the people, but the weeds, the negative comments, the negative posts, anything like that. And so we've been doing that, and you haven't seen that necessarily, but you've also experienced what it's like to be negative comment, negative post free, which is kind of nice. I gotta say, it's a nice environment, and that's the whole point. Is it's a welcome and open environment where you can share and not be judged, where you can get help for whatever it is you've got questions for. You can see other people's success. You've got coaching calls, all kinds of stuff, right? That's the whole purpose of the group. So, anyway, those of you who have wins, not necessarily client wins, but journey wins, like if you've gotten your agency website template set up, if you've gone through some of the training, you want to share that, your comments and feedback, if you want to ask questions about that, all those are more than welcome in the group. Remember, it's not just about client wins, right? Before you can have a win getting a client, you have to have the wins for the journey, right? And that's going to be setting up the agency website, getting your ringless voicemail and voice broadcasts out, pulling in your first few pitches on the phone, right? To actually pulling in your first client, right? And then first delivered phone call that's qualified. All those are milestones, right? Not just getting clients. Everybody seems to be focused on just the getting clients when it takes a lot of other wins first to get to that win. Just like you don't play one game and go and it's the championship game. You have to go a whole season, right? Now I'm not saying you have to do an entire season's worth of work here. It's actually very compressed timetable and very efficient. So if you do the few things you need to do prior to getting clients, you will get those wins and you will get a client win. There's no doubt in my mind. So anyway, Facebook group is there for you to share on your journey, your progress, your wins. Keep the negative stuff at the door or away from the door would be fine. And know that we're here to help. Know that we're here to help you succeed in this business model, and that's what it's all about. Okay, cool. So now you got enough of that face, so you can get that. What I'm saying to you is not a personal thing or any kind of a defensive thing or attack. It's more about protecting the group and making sure that everybody gets the environment that they need, right? Live streams, that's what we're on right now, right? We're always going to have those training topics to cover. We cover them first. We do that without interruption. And then at the end of each stream, we usually have a Ask Me Anything format. We'll take some questions. Matter of fact, if you folks want to start, if you have any questions and you haven't asked them yet, go ahead and ask them in the comments, and I'll be more than happy to answer those for you. Even after the stream is over, I have no problem doing that. I usually follow up with streams like that. And here's the thing: those of you that are on right now, use these for the engagement, because the more engagement you have with us, the better and faster your results are going to be. One of the reasons that Romeo and Rick have done so well so quickly is because they had engagement. I mean, if you look at how many posts they had in the mentorship group, you'd see it's just like tons of posts, right? About all kinds of different topics, not just getting clients. They talk about the client number, sure, but that's not the only thing they've ever talked about or focused on. And I think that's very valuable, super important to see that. It's engagement on multiple levels, celebrating all of the wins, not just the client wins. And that's important, right? So if you do that with the live streams in the Facebook group, you're going to have really great success, and it's going to be really rapid as well. All right, support. You guys and gals know the deal. Support channel, we use that mainly for software usage, any kind of file errors, bugs, things like that, suggestions even, which trust me, we get plenty of. Uh, I think there's only been one suggestion that's come through that to date that we didn't have on the list that we put on the list, and that should tell you a lot about how good our development team is and what's on the agenda for that. And where we're headed with the software. So the live streams in the Facebook group both are everything basically non-software. So think business model, ad campaigns, client acquisition, anything that's non-software related. The best place to put that is in the group, and that's so that everybody else can learn from the answers. Right? That's so everybody can learn from the answers, not just you. Now, sometimes it's a private question. I understand. And sometimes you guys ask that privately in support. I have no problems with that. I'll answer it just the same. I just like to see more of those questions inside of the group and in live streams because people really do benefit from seeing those kinds of answers. Okay. As always, there's 5 ways to reach our support. You've got ringads.com. There's support links at the top of the page and the bottom right hand side, which that's where you would go to opt into the early bird list, right? And inside the software, you're going to find built-in support in the bottom left-hand corner. When you get registered for that, when Ring Ads launches publicly, you'll see that bottom left-hand corner, excuse me. And you can email us directly, successteam@ringads.com. We take success very seriously. It's no longer a support staff, if you will. Yes, they're support based, but more than anything, they're success driven. So I figured, why not go with a name like Success Team? Makes sense, right? Uh, keep it simple. Keep it simple. Submit a ticket. You can submit a ticket at ringads.ladesk.com, and that'll go directly to our support desk as well. And of course, you've got the Facebook group, which you're currently in. But that's a great place for you to get support and help. And I've seen a lot of people ask questions in there, no problem. But yeah, there's support. So we've covered that. We talked about the next steps, which are right here. So again, just to recap those real quick, paypercallagencysuccess.com, get the free updated training. You just register for a free account. It's there for you. Part 1 and Part 2 of the Pay-Per-Call Agency Success in 24 hours or less guides. Setting up your Google MCC account, studying the sales script. That's super important. A lot of people just kind of breeze over that. And then when it's time for the phone calls, they're like, oh crap, I'm not really ready. Spend some time on that. Spend some time on that. Any time you spend on that is going to be well worth the effort, I promise. Get on the early bird list over at ringads.com. That way you get notified via Facebook and via email when Ring Ads launches publicly, okay? And of course, stay tuned via email and Facebook group for when we do that, okay? All right, cool. So let me come back to my screen here and see if there are any questions that I can answer. Let me grab a quick drink of water here. Oh, yeah. All right. Let's see. When will you reopen the mentorship program? That's a good question. Actually, the plan is after we launch Ring Ads publicly, I'll be reopening the mentorship. I was thinking, actually, I have it written down. Hold on. Yeah, here it is. I was thinking I would do the next 15 people in the mentorship. I would do at $14.97. That's what I'm thinking I'm going to do. Because if I do 15 of you at $14.97, I give people the opportunity that kind of missed it. I think I've had more than that hit me up about it, but I figure, the people that have really been waiting on it to open again, that'd be a fair price, because after those 15, I'm going to bump it to 2,000. It's going to be $19.97. But I didn't want to do that just right out of the gate. I wanted to give everybody that wanted to come in originally a chance to come in at a lower rate. And it will be an annual price. It's not going to be a lifetime or anything like that. We do that because there's a lot of resources and hard costs that are associated with the mentorship, as well as every level of Ring Ads. But the mentorship's going to be an annual basis, and I'm thinking the next 15 when we do open it, we'll do 14.97, and then we'll bump it to 19.97. So that's the plan for the mentorship. Um, and there's some restructuring I'm going to do on some of the things that I can add to the mentorship. And I'll be working on that after we get Ring Ads launch up first, and then I'll come back and work on that. That's why it was kind of buried on the on the desk there, but it is written down, and it's that's what I'm thinking we're going to do. So yeah, we will be opening that. I mean, as soon as Ring Ads is publicly launched, I would say mentorship's probably, well, not probably, it is next on the agenda. It's one of the top things because I've been getting asked about it a lot, and that's cool. I'll get that set up as soon as possible. Then, now that I see that there are still people out there asking about it, I'll make sure. Excuse me. I'll make sure that I do that and take care of you. Okay. And thank you for asking. Can't wait for Ring Ads to open. Me either, man. It's gonna be fun. You guys are gonna dig it. Let's see. Are there problems with pay-per-call-agency-success.com? It times out 100% of the time on two browsers. I'm not sure why. It's hosted through ClickFunnels. You shouldn't have any timeout issues. I'll look into it though. Let me write that down. It is on ClickFunnels, like I said, so it shouldn't be an issue. Um, ClickFunnels, agency training, timeout, question mark. There we go. All right, so I got that. I'll take a look at that and let you know, but should be just fine. Okay, I'm not seeing any other questions. No questions, folks? Maybe I missed some up top. Hold on. Let me see. Nope. Okay. All right. I guess we don't have any other questions. I don't know. Well, let's make it last call. I don't want to keep everybody on longer than we need to, right? You folks know what you need to be working on. There are things you can be doing right now to let's say start building the agency. You may not realize how valuable or how important it is, but everything I just gave you on that next steps list, which you can go back in the recording to find in a couple places, they're things that are absolutes. Like you really do need to do them, right? And when you have them done and you've gone through the script enough, for example, and you're on the early bird list, you're not going to miss notifications from me, right? That kind of thing. It just sets you so basically everything I've given you just sets you up for achieving that success and making it super easy to do with just these few things. So I'm not asking too terribly much from you, and what you can do with that in return, I think, is the big key. So yeah, pretty excited about Ring Ads public launch. Can't stop smiling. I don't, it's exciting. It is. Oh, here we go. A couple of comments, and then or a couple of questions, and then we'll do a last call here. And so this is the last call. We'll answer these, and then probably bounce out. But I will stay tuned on the stream post. And if you have questions that come in after the fact, that's fine. I don't mind answering those if I catch them. Sometimes I miss them. Sometimes I don't. I try to catch everything though. When you're doing marketing research, what are you guys and gals saying to get past the gatekeeper? That's a great question. So with the gatekeeper for market research, the biggest thing is sometimes the gatekeeper is the one you want to talk to, right? Sometimes it's not the business owner. Obviously, if you can talk to a business owner, that's great. But a lot of times, if somebody's in position enough to be a gatekeeper, they are an office manager or a desk manager or somebody that is in a position of authority, right? The way I would look at it is this: it's the same type of script where you're not trying to sell them anything, and you repeat that. It's not something you just say once. You tell them a couple of times. You're not trying to sell them anything. You're expanding into the vertical that you're going after. So I'm a marketing company. Listen, first off, ma'am, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I am a marketing company, but I'm expanding into the HVAC industry. And what I do is I drive live phone calls for local businesses, and I'm expanding into HVAC. So again, I'm not trying to sell you anything. I'm trying to find out more information from a reputable HVAC provider. Would you be the right person for me to talk to about your business and your business needs, like what that looks like. Again, not trying to sell you anything. How many times I say that? I said it 3 times. But the point is, I get across like I'm not only not trying to sell you anything, I'm trying to get information, right? I'm here for information. That's a very solid marketing research call. Now, market research is one of those things where so many people are tempted to sell the interested party, because when you ask the right questions, and as you ask more questions, you'll learn what the right ones are, and it's different for every vertical. You're going to learn a lot about the market, but at the same time, you're going to have people that want to buy from you, and you're not going to be able to sell to them, and you're going to have to tell them to wait. I've got more market research calls to do. I told you on this call I wasn't trying to sell you anything, and I'm dead serious about it. Now, if you're serious about doing business with me, that I'm excited about that. That's great. I know I'll be able to drive qualified phone calls for you. Uh, but let me finish my market research. I want to make sure that we expand into the HVAC industry the right way, and that way you benefit from it. And I don't want to rush that. Right? They're gonna be like, okay, that sounds good. Call me in. Call me when you're ready. That's probably what they're gonna say, and that's a good call. That's a good market research call. So um, the best way to handle gatekeepers is to not treat them as a gatekeeper. Treat them as information or directory assistance, right? You need help. You got to be directed to the right person. They may even be the right person. You don't know. You're asking. So that's the best way to work with gatekeepers. I actually don't like the term gatekeepers because it sounds derogatory, especially if you are a gatekeeper. So I mean, I say front office, I say help, I say um, uh, what else do I say? Not phone answerer, but receptionist. Sometimes even that's lowball. Office manager. I assume office manager, and if they say no, I just answer the phone. They say, oh, okay. So answering service or receptionist. Sometimes I'll even ask them what their title is. They kind of dig that. How often do you think they get asked that by um, telemarketers, for example? They don't give a shit. They're calling, try to get the deal, and they go on to the next one. That's one of the worst ways to try to connect with a human I've ever seen in my life, and you're not going to be doing that. So obviously you're going to get different results if you stop treating gatekeepers like gatekeepers. Hopefully that makes sense. And I'm not bagging on you at all, because everybody says the word gatekeepers. Even I do for industry jargon, or for people to understand what I'm saying. But I always like to say office manager, because an office manager in a lot of cases is just as valuable knowledge wise, especially in market research. And in a lot of cases, I'd say a fair amount of cases, can even make the decision on purchasing. On a bigger company, not huge company, but like a larger size company, office managers have purchasing power, and they're not to be treated as a gatekeeper or something like that. And yeah, I would totally shift how you're thinking about who you're talking to, who you're speaking with on the phone on the other end, and it's going to change the conversation big time. And you'll be surprised how many more people open up to you, because you're not trying to sell them anything, you're emphasizing it, and you're also talking to them like they're a real friggin' live human on the other end of the phone, and not some obstacle to get around or over or under or through, right? They are the person you're trying to reach, and oh yeah, by mistake you need to be forwarded over to the business owner or have them brought in on the call too. That'll happen sometimes. Other times it's just the office manager, right? So anyway, enough on that. But good question, and hopefully you folks get my point about the whole gatekeeper thing. It's a very not nice term. Uh, Tim Parker. Oh, somebody's asking to bring it up on a proxy site. Failed on proxy site too. Link redirects. Referencing gatekeeper, that very good pitch, what you just said. I'm going to learn these words off by heart with the other scripts. Perfect. That's good. I have that stepped out too, systemized in the training. So while I don't have that here for you on screen, I do have that written out. So I just quoted it to you from memory. And then the whole gatekeeper word. I made sure. So someone's saying, let me add to this note here about the agency training template. Someone's saying the redirect is not working the right way. Okay. I'll take a look at that, see if I can get that sorted for you. In the meantime, you do have access to the guides, and the guides cover a lot of the updated training as well. In fact, every stage of it. So I would say, if anything, access the guides. Those are in the Facebook group under units. If you look on the left-hand menu of the Facebook group, you'll see discussion, units. Units is where we put all the training, right? Units is one of the places we put all the training. We put training inside of the software, but we also load up as much as possible, and we'll be loading up more inside of units. And there you'll find part one and part two of the guides. That's where you'll find the guides. So while I go and take a look at what's not working on the site there for the updated training, I'll make sure to set you guys send you guys over to the part one, part two, and I'll go take a look at what's going on there. Cool, cool. All right, folks. Well, I'm not seeing any other questions. We did last call. Let's bounce out of here. But if I see more questions a little bit later on, I'll be sure to come in and chime in on those. I'm excited. You should be excited yourself. If you're not, get excited, because it's coming. Ring Ads is coming. Public launch here soon, and there's going to be a lot of value found in the patience side of this, for sure. So I appreciate your patience in letting me do what needs to be done, so that when you come in, you're going to be able to go rapidly and start to finish. That's the key here. So yeah, looking forward to it, and thanks for coming in or coming on and tuning in, I guess is what I was trying to say. And looking forward to our next call on the 14th, Valentine's Day, February 14th, Valentine's Day. So should be an interesting session. I would think that I was hoping to have Ring Ads publicly launched by now. So we're a little bit behind on some of the upgrading that we're doing with the software, but there's a couple of things that came up that I wanted to make sure were in place that are just super, super slick, that you're going to really appreciate, and so are we on our end for management. But really cool stuff that I think it's worth the wait. So we'll see what we can do about getting that out here very shortly, and get you folks moving. That way we have a good first quarter, and progress right into that second quarter. That's where a lot of the magic's going to be, is the end of the first quarter, and for you, and into the second quarter. So looking forward to that. And yeah, we'll see you guys and gals on the next coaching call. Appreciate every one of you. Thanks for tuning in, and keep working hard. You guys and gals have the next steps, okay? Keep working on that. I'm looking at the next steps right there. Keep working on that. We'll keep working on our end. We'll meet in the middle, and we'll do this public launch, and from there we'll make some history. We'll make some history together. Looking forward to it. So, all right, we'll catch you guys on the next stream. All right, bye for now.